Okay.
Okay, so ready for me to make something good?
Yes, I am.
It doesn't stop.
Now,
What do you think? It would stop because we're here?
just watch. Every time I leave the room, he'll start saying, well, contrary to what Steve said. You know, I can hear it walking down
heard
the
that
hall.
last time?
I heard it. I walked down the hall. I've got sonic hearing.
Spanish hearing? Where's
And I have a photogenic mind.
Okay, so here's what we'll make now. I have 3 to make today. 2 unknown cookie ones that I've never made before, and 1 tried and true coconut. So I guess we'll start with the tried and true coconut. Is that all right? Okay. Now there's 6 left in here because we used 4. No, we used 4.
Yes.
And I use 5, right? Okay. So if I pour off 1, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go over the bladders yet with them?
No.
Okay. Whenever you get this stuff, it's called ice cream mix, but as Steve pointed out, it's really a blend. It's a blend of milk, cream, skim milk, and skim milk solids. Little sugar, little vanilla, and it has a refrigeration life of about almost a month, we discovered, right? So almost a month. If it's frozen, your grandchildren will be able to use it. It's frozen like a rock. And if you're gonna freeze it, know that it won't thaw out overnight to be workable the next day. It'll take longer, even in a tub of water. So it comes in these bladders, and there are 10 quarts in a bladder, and 2 bladders to a box. So whenever you get it delivered, it's pretty universal, right? It's pretty universal.
Yep.
So you'll get, how many gallons? Let's see how sharp they are.
5.
How many?
5.
Good man. Good man, Jim. 5 gallons, and each one will contain 2.5 gallons. In this machine, I need 5 quarts, because in our machine it was 10 quarts, and this is a 12-quart machine, so half of that. So the coconut recipe is sugar. We're going to use 5 quarts of mix, 28 ounces of sugar, which is a little less than 2 pounds. What are you writing down? Huh?
Just right now.
Oh, okay. And then we'll use, that's all right. You don't care anyway. All right. So as we said, if we pour off 1 quart, that'll give us the 5 that we need, right? Right, Jim? Okay. Now that's ready, right?
Ready.
You just put sanitizer in it, right?
It's all done. Thank you.
All right. What are you rinsing that one?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll start with the mix. You always start with the mix. And we're adding, how many?
5.
5. Oh, you almost said 4. 5 quarts of mix. You know, I try not to walk in front of you when you're working.
Well, if I walked behind you, I would have had to knock you over. Oh, so the camera's having trouble adjusting for that loud shirt you're wearing.
All right, now what do we need? Sugar. Sugar. Oh, you gonna do this for me?
What's that?
No, you're not. And you can either use the good sugar or the cheap sugar that he uses. Your choice. How much did we say we need? See, they're not listening. They're just talking, sleeping. Nothing going on there.
Hey, Ken?
28 ounces, right?
Make a note, 1910 Fruit Gum Company, the song Sugar, Sugar, You Are My Candy Girl. Every time he mentions sugar, we'll put that over the broadcast. Fruit Gum Company. Fruit Gum Company.
1 is 16 and 12.
Maybe we'll cue up Baby Shark, too.
Okay, sugar, mix. Pay attention over there.
I am paying attention. You're getting pretty good with that infinite overrun control.
Yeah,
Pretty slick.
pretty slick. Someday I'll have one.
Yes. When you grow up.
All right. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Go ahead, tell him.
Well, Steve doesn't approve of putting the sugar in here, but I realized a long time ago this is the greatest mix master I've ever had. And it mixes so quick and so fast, 234 revolutions a minute. So I use it to mix my dry ingredients with the cream. Steve would prefer to do this externally in a pitcher, but there's really no need for it.
But Steve doesn't get a say because Jeff's bigger than me and highly opinionated.
The idea of putting it directly in versus pre-mixing it, liquefying it, does that affect the blade life or anything like that?
Yes, and it'll affect the blade life.
No.
But Jeff gets his for free.
You'll
so
be
what does
long
he
gone
care?
before those
Yeah,
blades
okay.
wear out.
Yeah, they go about 6 years. Even if you abuse the machine like Jeff. It would go 40 if you do it right.
All right. Shredded coconut. This is what I use. It's either Ansel or Goya. Same product. Same company. What?
Sweet coconut or just
Well, I can't really tell you.
It's that big a secret?
It's a big secret. It is grated coconut in heavy syrup. And we're going to use, how many ounces? 64, 32, 2 is 16, 32. I will use 2 cans. I don't have time for this. Oh, stop. It's 2 cans. It's in your book. You don't have to write this down. It's in your book. You have the book, right? It's in the book.
Speaking of books, there are about 200 of my mediocre recipes at emerythompson.com that are yours free for the taking. You can also get Jeff's book online from Mystic Ice Cream, and I have to say these are fantastic. So if you're just starting out, you make these and you'll do fine, and then you can graduate up to mine, and everybody will say, wow, that's really mediocre.
Boy, these are suck.
So don't try to steal them. Christy's watching. But you can buy one today if you like. Not that we're here to sell books.
I am.
Okay.
Someone's got to pay for all this stuff I bring.
That's true.
Okay, so we're adding 2 cans of this. And this was all born out of the fact that I didn't know any better when I started this whole business, so I used to go to the supermarket and buy my ingredients. I still do. And I find that it works best. Contrary to all Steve's payola friends who give him all this stuff here for free, I go to the supermarket, the Restaurant Depot, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, and I buy stuff that I think will make good ice cream, stuff that we remember as a kid. Oreos, coconut M&Ms, stuff that looks good. And then you figure out how to make ice cream out of it.
He walks in with a Publix bag and puts stuff in it, puts his hat down and tries to sneak out. And then they call me because I had to bail him out again.
Oh, you know that's not true. What? Grate the coconut?
Drain.
Oh, because that stuff's good. It's got all the flavor in it. It's like when you're making tomato sauce. Something like that.
Ken's from Texas. They use Heinz ketchup to make pizzas.
Ketchup? Did you say ketchup?
To make pizzas.
Ketchup?
Why, what do you say?
Tell them how you pronounce
That's what I say, ketchup.
It's ketchup.
All right, we're saying the same thing.
No, it's not ketchup. Ketchup is what you do when you're chasing somebody.
Is this like the the urine joke? That the opposite of you're out in baseball is you're in? It's ketchup. I said the same thing. He did ketchup.
Next, you'll be telling me about that other planet out there that we don't discuss.
Huh? Oh, no. Oh, no.
We'll add
children
a little,
watch this show, you know.
No, they don't. We'll add a little coconut milk. You don't have to. And that's about it. Is that it? Where's your book? In the car. Mix sugar, shredded coconut, and coconut milk. And that's it. And now we'll turn on the refrigerant.
All right.
And as you know, I like to set a timer, not to time the batch, but to alert me to the fact that.
Okay, Mickey's hand is on the big hand is on the 9 and the little hand's on the 10.
Boy, you really got up early today, didn't you?
Well, I'm wearing my Mickey Mouse watch.
The reason I have a timer on my machine, a store-bought timer, is, and it counts up. I don't set it for 10 minutes, 11 minutes. I set it starting at 0. And the only thing that I use that for is, well, two things. One, a rough idea how long it's taking. So that after 10 years, not really, after a few batches, you'll know how long this ice cream takes, how long these ices take, just in general. And you can read or listen to music or do whatever you want in that room. But the real reason I do it is if I'm sitting over here, I want to be able to look over and make sure that the refrigeration and the motor are on. And the motor always goes on first, and then when I put the refrigeration on, I hit the timer, just to alert me to the fact that everything's working, and I'm good. Okay, Zach? Yes, Jim?
Prior to turning your refrigeration on, is there a time you let it mix for, or you just throw it in?
No. Think about this, 234 a minute. That's pretty fast.
Okay.
So if you were using a KitchenAid, it doesn't come close to that.
So it mixes pretty quick?
Pretty quickly. Okay. Pretty quickly. Any other questions?
I just want to show you all something. The CB350 we rate at 6 quarts finished capacity. I know it makes more than that. We actually pulled out 7.5 quarts. But with all that powder beignet, everything that we poured in there, I just want to show you what was left after rinsing. It's next to nothing. So people sometimes call up and they say, oh, I left so many chips in the machine or so many Oreos or anything like that. And I know it's because they overfroze. It's the most common mistake people make. They think that ice cream should come out of the machine ready to go on a cone. That's a soft serve machine. They work a very small barrel, only that big in diameter, and there's an auger in there, and so it's pushing out one cone at a time, so they pull out a thicker product. We're making bulk ice cream like your oven, where when your pie is ready, you take the whole pie out. But I just wanted you to see how little is left after rinsing out the machine. And you go out and buy a spaghetti colander, because even though that's a very small amount, you don't want to be putting that down your drain hour after hour, day after day. So the inexpensive spaghetti colander catches that and keeps it from going down your drain. Just a little tip.
All right, any questions about what we're doing? Yes, dear.
So the ice cream you made was not as thick as what's being made. Does it matter if it's a little thicker or
Matter to what?
to the taste or flavor or how, well, not the flavor, but how it freezes or no?
Well, I don't know if I understand it correctly.
Does it matter?
You want me to take over? I understand it.
Okay.
The answer is no. Okay. Yes. No, it doesn't matter whether you pull it Jeff's method or my method. It's the same ice cream, which will be finished off in your freezer. Jeff's way is perfectly fine. In fact, it was great for its purpose. He's not making normally one batch today and then he goes and sits down till tomorrow. He's making a lot of batches, so he wants production. Get it in, get it made, get it out. Get it in, get it made, get it out. I was trying to show you something close to scoopable for you to try, so I pulled it a little bit stiffer. I prefer Jeff's way. It's not going to change the ice crystal structure whatsoever, but our machines are designed for speed. If you look at the Italian machines and the Chinese, which are everything else on the market, they discharge very, very slowly, and they have to take a spatula and cut off a section, and then cut off a section. While you're taking all that time cutting off little sections of ice cream, making it look nice and pretty in your pan, your first ice cream comes out weighing one amount, and your last ice cream weighs lighter because you left it in there for so long. Imagine you're broiling a steak and you start taking it out, it's medium rare, but it takes you 5 minutes to get the steak out of the oven. The last part of that steak is going to go from medium rare to medium to well done to burning down the house. And we build these machines for production. We're production people. We want that out. We want you to make 2 or 3 hours of ice cream and then go be able to relax. So it's a whole different policy. But the design of our dashers is such that they make the smoothest ice cream in the world. That's the little one that's in here.
That's not the one that dropped on my toe.
No, we dropped the big one on your toe. We wanted to do a professional job. I've got a little guard on here, but this is spring loaded, and as the blades wear, that's why they go 5 years, 6 years. As the blades wear, the springs still push them out against the walls. So at 4 years and 11 months, the blades are working just as efficiently as they did when they were brand new. The old Taylors, customer was just telling me he had to change them every 4 months. I think the Capigianis may go 6 months, but Emery Thompson, 5 to 6 years. That's why we kept our New York phone number. We were afraid people would forget that we moved 14 years ago. In fact, a guy called yesterday, wanted to know what subway stop we were on the number 4 mugger mover. And I said, we're not there anymore, I'm sorry. Well, that's running. If I can just, you would think that since we're doing a show, maybe Steve got this one letter and he saved it up for 2 months to read to you. But these come in all day, all night. I work from 5:30 in the morning till 10 at night. This one is addressed Wednesday, April 3rd. That's today. 8:37 a.m. That's while you were all just filing in. So this, just came in. This is just out of the blue. Dear sir, I have an Emery Thompson machine that has been in our ice cream factory in Lebanon, Beirut for 30 years. I have a problem with the blades. I can't find a supplier in this area. Can you help me find and order them? Thank you in advance. And I can't pronounce his name. Well, I wrote him back and I said, we have machine parts. I remember selling this machine 30 years ago. I sold it through a distributor called King's Son, which stood for King's Son. And he was one of the Saudi kings. But so I remember it 30 years ago. But he's still running it 30 years later, and all he needs is a set of blades. And Christy will call him this afternoon, tell him the price of the blades. We'll take a credit card. They'll be out the door this afternoon on their way to Lebanon. So we build a unique machine. Who else? Yes.
So if you're making gelato, when it comes out of the machine, if you're coming out at the thickness, you know how it mounts up so pretty in the pan?
Yeah.
So you bring it out at that thickness?
There's only one problem with that concept. Besides uneven ice cream, if you're making it slow, this half the tub is going to weigh heavier than this half because it's got all that extra room in there and you're taking so slow. But you spend all that time decorating it. And then you come in and buy this flavor. What does this tub look like now? It's got 4 scoops out of it. It's no longer pretty. So I'm sorry, but I forego pretty for function because pretty is only going to stay that way for the first 4 scoops. And then the prettiness is gone. And it's
And how about after the 20-year-old employees get to it who work for you?
Yeah.
Then it looks like hell.
Yeah. And, it's bringing up a different point, but that's why I prefer cabinets where you can't see the ice cream. The Baskin-Robbins method of the visual display, it works for the gelaterias if you want to spend $30,000 on a $1,000 cabinet. It looks pretty when everything's bright and new and fresh when you first open the doors, but after 15 minutes, it all looks like scooped ice cream. I'd rather have real nice signs that say what flavors I have today, and let the person come up and say, I want to try your crazy mint chip.
What a unique
idea.
idea.
Then I'll give them mint chip ice cream. And I can also change out the flavors, the board, whenever I want, as opposed to saying, no, I'm sorry, we ran out of tiramisu. So the American way of doing things is geared towards us Americans. The prettiness is nice, but it doesn't last more than 4 scoops. How's it coming, Jeff?
It's coming.
Okay.
Get your hands off that.
I'm just looking. Who else? Yes, sir.
Do you have many customers that use your machine strictly for custard or partially for custard?
If you're going to do frozen custard like they do in the Midwest, it really comes down to definition. You get over to the Jersey Shore, and by the way, there is no such state as New Jersey. It's Jersey. We call it Jersey, not New Jersey. New Jersey, there is no New Jersey, it's Jersey. If you go to Jersey, everything that's soft ice cream is custard. That's just what we call it. Now, if you get out into Wisconsin, if you get out to Culver's custard country, and we put him in business with our machines, they use a specific custard machine. High volume, 25, 30 gallons an hour, completely different process. He doesn't use batch. If you want to add a little bit of custard to your store, yes, we can do it in these machines, a batch or so. But for the true custard, you need a custard machine. We invented the custard machine in 1923. I brought it back in the 90s. We're bringing it back later this spring because the market is still out there. But it's a great market. It's a great product, but it's got a couple of problems to it. One is, anybody on the East Coast, custard sounds like that stuff Mom used to put into little glass jars, like junket
Rennet custard.
And put into the refrigerator. And it was never any good. So people on the East Coast don't know what it is, or the West Coast.
But people in St. Louis certainly know.
In St. Louis, they do, Ted Drew's. But it's what we call in filming, a one-trick pony. You're selling one product. Well, it would be like Jeff's selling, hey, we make the greatest vanilla in the world. We make vanilla all day long. Any flavor you want, as long as it's vanilla. Well, what about the person who wants mint chip or the tiramisu? You don't have it. So it's a nice add-on if you want to do it, but I wouldn't do a business exclusively. And this coming from someone who's about to introduce a very expensive custard machine to the market. It's not at all for everybody.
When are you going to market that? That'll be ready.
You'll see the prototypes being finished today.
Everybody tells you
$50,000.
Right? Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A whole lot of money. You better have a big market.
Yeah.
Like Culver's. Culver's has a big market. Culver's is a great franchise. I worked with Craig Culver when he was starting out, and just the nicest. Everybody in that organization is nicer than the next. Just wonderful. And there's other companies out there who I don't want to mention just because they're coming on board. Yes, sir.
So it doesn't make your batch. Wait till he makes his batch. You can't make custard with those.
You can make custard with
What's
these
the actor's
machines.
name?
But if you're going to run a custard business that's going to be all custard, you're better off with a custard machine. Again, it comes down to the definition of custard.
Exactly.
Rita's tells people they're making custard. It's not custard, it's soft ice cream. It doesn't qualify as custard. It may have egg yolk in it, but it's not custard.
So what qualifies as custard?
The machine. Custard is the lowest overrun dairy product there is, lowest air content dairy product with egg yolk in it. And it's a very unique definition. If you're doing a Rita's, we put Rita's in business also and sold them hundreds and hundreds of machines. Instead of buying, with a Rita's franchise, you have to buy a batch freezer and a soft ice cream machine. So if you're making, this, they call this a gelati. It's glass, but they call it a gelati. When I was growing up, it was called a parfait. And a parfait was a scoop of raspberry sherbet and a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Scoop of raspberry sherbet, scoop of ice cream. A gelati is a little bit of soft ice cream and some Italian ice. A little bit of soft ice cream and scooping hard Italian ice. Instead of all that work in a $30,000 soft serve machine, buy a little cabinet, make up some vanilla this morning or any flavor you want. And now I'm going to have 2 cabinets, vanilla, Italian ice, vanilla, Italian ice. Better quality because I'm making homemade ice cream, not cheap soft serve with a lot of air in it that melts fast. I'll have a much better product doing it that way. Same result though. There it is.
You could help out here.
What would you like?
Grab the towel. It's
Sorry.
stuck on the. Easy.
Go for it.
Here we go. Okay. Want to try some of this?
Yes.
Bryan Cranston. Doesn't he look like. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No, I didn't.
Oh. Boy, I can't. It was hitting me all day yesterday. Right here. Bryan Cranston. All day it was hitting me.
Oh, that's good.
Why do you sound surprised? Oh, stop. You're
I have
here
your-
late. You're complaining.
Can I
Come
have your
on.
autograph? That is good.
This is the first ice cream I ever made.
And why did you choose that?
Because I was in the supermarket, I bought the stuff, and I said, well, that sounds pretty good. It's really not, anything more than that.
Does anybody want to take a 10-minute break to go smoke, go to the bathroom, go play with Sammy, or should we keep going? Everybody agree, keep going?
Jeff, from an operational
Okay.
standpoint, do you have somebody who is physically making the ice cream? Or
No, I make
Where's
it.
back home?
Puerto Rico.
Yes, okay.
I make the ice cream.
He's selling me this.
Unless you're applying for the job, but I...
No, I'm
It's
multiple locations trying to figure out.
most likely
the best way
soft
to
serve.
distribute.
I make the ice cream. I make all the ice cream. And she knows it, too.
if it wasn't for the shipping costs into Puerto Rico, you could ship it in from Florida, but you've got the highest shipping costs in the world.
Bryan Cranston. Nobody ever told you that?
Soft serve.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's soft serve. It'll
This
work.
is the coconut that
You'll
we
have to
didn't
add
get to
some
try
sugar to
yesterday,
it.
right?
Really?
But it'll work.
So adding sugar will.
It looks
It'll
white.
give you more solids. You could, if you had
What?
cream in the
That's too much,
supermarket,
right?
you could buy some of that too,
Okay.
and put it in and balance it out and come up with your own formula. So yeah, you could improve on that. Is that expensive?
It's like $6.
No, I like to rewash them and wring them out and use them.
Okay.
That one is like $5.
There is one in the
Yeah.
first sink there that needs dealing.
Then that's okay.
That's
doctor it
Steve's.
Buy sugar and cream.
If you had cream available, yes. Otherwise, just more sugar will do it. When we make ice cream, we have to freeze something. We in the dairy industry call it solids. It's like if you want to make Italian ice, if you leave out the water, the sugar,
Isn't that
there's no
nice how nice
solids
and
in
white
it's just
it is?
Water and flavor. So you need the solids, and that comes from cream and/or sugar.
So how much, like, per ounce or something of sugar should I add?
It's going to be more like the size of the machine. If you're working with this one, I'd say I would start with 2 cups. And if you hear
none
it
for
making
you
a
guys.
grinding noise, it means it's freezing too fast against the water, the walls, and then you add another cup.
Take care of you
But
in
2 cups for a
post-production,
starter.
buddy. And this is how.
Meanwhile, I just gave Steve another project for you.
Finished.
None for him?
Yeah, the cylinder's about.
Oh, none for you?
The cylinder's about
Okay.
8 or 9 quarts.
What's the project? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but that'll work.
Probably not.
I was doing a process, and now I'm buying this because I bought a carpet, 1993 carpet gun before I knew Emery Thompson.
Well, it'll still work for you.
Yeah, but
It gets you into business. That's the key. Get into business. Then you'll come back because you'll grow.
I've been a year and I've already sold $82,000.
Great.
So,
That's a great start.
but I want to buy cheap.
Later.
Thanks.
Yeah.
When the ice cream hardens up, does the sweetness change any?
I believe that the taste changes, that not the sweetness, but that the ice cream will, if you make vanilla ice cream, if I make vanilla ice cream, which we're going to do next, and you taste it now, you'll say, oh, that's really
It
good.
is the best coconut
But
ever.
6 hours later, it's going to be
What?
more intense. Jeff doesn't agree with me, but the dairy industry agrees with me. That the
Got a
flavor.
lot of ice cream
so
to go.
don't judge it first coming out of the machine. Judge it 6, 8, 10 hours later tomorrow, because the flavor will bloom.
Isn't it good?
You can never have too much flavor. I mean, people buy flavor. They don't buy fat. They don't buy air content. They eat flavor.
Isn't that good ice cream?
What I find in going around tasting different people's ice cream is they don't get the flavor.
No, they chintz on the flavor. Jeff, folks, we were just talking about flavor, and Jeff will tell you, and he's finally gotten through to me, which is not easy. It doesn't matter what your flavor costs, because making Breyers, a company that we put into business, their coffee ice cream tastes like colored vanilla ice cream. That's all it tastes like. Doesn't taste like coffee. My coffee
You ready?
will put hair on your spleen. And so that means tea drinkers are not going to buy my coffee ice cream, but coffee lovers are going to love my coffee ice cream. Like the one we made this morning was a good, strong taste, and it'll be stronger tomorrow. So flavor is everything. So even though I kid him and he kids me about the sugar, because I say sugar is sugar, when it comes to other flavors, you buy the best flavors and use a lot of it, you'll have a great product. My great fear, if I had a fear in ice cream, would be you coming up to me and saying, wow, that pale pink ice cream you gave me was really delicious. What is it? And you can't tell that it's red raspberry instead of strawberry. I didn't use enough flavor. You use enough flavor and people will be around the block. Because as a gentleman just said who walked up to me a minute ago, he says, everybody else out there doesn't have enough taste. It doesn't have enough flavor. And that's criminal. It's so easy to buy good flavors at the supermarket, which I'm going to do with my red raspberry, and use a lot of it. So what if it cost me $15 to flavor?
take the
I'm going to
spoon
get that many times over in the sale of the product. I think I'm up next, so let me look at the list and see what I'm going to do.
So this is good, right? We like the coconut?
This is great.
And that grated stuff in the can is terrific. Oh, I forgot to add something.
You stay out. Stay out.
No, I brought some coconut flakes to add.
Just like it is.
Oh, well. But you can do that. You can add some coconut flakes and just give it a little more oomph. Yes, sir.
Is there anything that you shouldn't put in the machine as far as ingredients?
Probably rocks.
No. But I mean,
Anything short of that, no.
Anything really, this machine will mix it. You're not going to
Anything.
scar the sides of the
This is
cylinder.
a tank.
It's a tank.
It's a tank. Everything is made, and I don't, it's his company, not mine.
Right.
Everything is cast steel. You see this door? One piece of steel, one block of steel with, I think it's called a CNC machine, and it carves it out. These knobs here, one block of steel. The cylinder, one sheet of thick steel. They're indestructible. And I've been using them now for 10 years, and I haven't found anything I can't put in them.
Oh, no, I was thrilled when I saw you put the sugar directly in, because coming down here mentally, I'm thinking you got to liquefy the sugar, and that's going to be a hassle.
No, you don't have to.
So I was thrilled. That was great. That was great.
Most of the recipes we did over the 2 days, pour everything in, turn it on, and wait till it's done. There are other things, you know, you can make a variegate, those stripes in the stuff. You can combine two. I make creamsicle. I make vanilla ice cream and orange sherbet, and you combine that. But for the most part, get your ingredients lined up, and we teach a method. So after you pour the bladder in, on the rolling cart that we use, before you put any ingredients in, you put all your ingredients on the cart. That way you know that you've got them all, because you've got your recipe card here with the ingredients, the cart with the stuff on it. It's better than pouring the bladder in and going over here and saying, okay, now what else do we need?
Right.
So that's the method that we teach, and then everything in, and it all blends and comes out.
Pre-stage your ingredients, yeah.
Yeah, but it's great because everything goes in, and then you turn it on. Raspberries.
And Jeff, I take it each type of ice cream or what you're making has a different freeze time, like 17
Absolutely.
minutes, 13
The coconut
minutes.
took longer. Why did the coconut take longer?
Because of the sweetness.
What?
Because it's sweet.
Right, sugar. Sugar takes longer.
Okay.
Alcohol takes longer. Honey takes longer. Anything like that will take longer in the machine. This, there was almost 2 pounds of sugar in the recipe, so it took a long time. Other things that we're making won't have sugar in it, so they'll be 6-7 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Quick.
it. This went about 12.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can answer a few more questions. I'm rinsing the raspberries.
Let's see. Way in the back there in the balcony, first row. Yes, ma'am.
So I think I heard Steve say to someone else that it changes after it freezes for 6 or 8 hours.
The flavor gets stronger. He doesn't
Go ahead,
agree.
use that word bloom again,
All
right?
right. It blooms.
It doesn't
there,
bloom.
See, I said it. There.
Let me say this.
Okay, what does he mean?
I mean,
He
I can
means
speak
that
for
when you
myself.
put it in the freezer, the next day it'll taste better
Okay.
or fuller,
Stronger.
whatever.
Like the flavors will be more.
But that's wrong.
They'll be
But
enhanced.
that's wrong.
It's not wrong.
Okay, but it's wrong.
The ice cream will never, ever taste as good as when you first open the gate from your finished product.
No, I disagree.
Think about this, okay? And I'll just nip this in the bud. When you're sitting down to eat ice cream and you've gone to the freezer and scraped out a big bowl of ice cream right from the freezer, you start eating it. When does it taste better? When it starts melting, right? And you go around the edges because it's softer and the temperature has gone up. When he puts it in the freezer the next day, the temperature is 0 or -5. There's no taste going on there. The taste comes in when the temperature rises and the ice cream gets softer.
Okay,
Therefore, let me
know.
finish my sentence.
Yeah, I know why you're
Therefore-
wrong now.
Therefore, when it first comes out, the temperature is higher because it's softer, and it's ready to go.
Okay, now I know what's wrong besides the fact that you didn't grow up in the Westchester County, New York. He is mixing up taste with texture. And that's two different things. Yes, the texture coming out, the texture when ice cream is soft is wonderful. You have to get ice cream up to a certain temperature, otherwise it freezes your taste buds. That's the texture of the product. The actual taste, how strong is this raspberry, will get more intense overnight.
Not if the temperature goes down.
And then you can warm it up to whatever scooping temperature you want. The entire dairy industry agrees with me.
They're wrong.
They're not wrong.
Why? That's like unusual for the establishment to be wrong?
Jeff, they're worth $900 billion and you're only worth $2 million.
It doesn't matter.
$7 million, I forgot.
It doesn't
What's going on?
matter. They're wrong.